not our loss. Happy Friday and welcome to the Market Watch Group Weekly Market Wrap. I'm Scott. I will be your host. These are the disclaimers. Be careful. We're not advisors. We're not brokers. Yada yada. This is the agenda. Today's market. What happened? What happened today relative to yesterday? What happened in the last 2 days relative to the week? We'll look at our market posture. We'll see if it looks like it's going to improve, get worse, stay the same. Stephen's already given us a bit of prognostication on the volume. We're going to look at mindset for trades being carried over the weekend. I mean, yeah, that's tough. If you're going to carry it over, I would also think maybe you would want to think about a hedge. We're not really advancing from the initial bump. So now the question is, do you carry it over the weekend, or do you think I want to take at least some off the table, tighten the stops? If I carry more, hedge a little, and then look next week. At this point, I'm not putting anything new on until I get a consolidation. We're like 9 out of 10 days up. I'm not looking to get bullish at that point. I'm looking to be patient and wait for the pullback. What to look for next week? The pullback. We'll look at the economic news. There's not much. But I do think that then we're likely to drift a little, get listless, pull back. And then I think we will see another bullish signal. The question is, does that bullish signal actually advance, or does it fail? And I'll show you the last little piece of what I'm looking for as a correlation to the September-October pattern. We'll look at our trade list or our trading list, and we'll look at trading plan. Remember, we're wrapping up section 4. Risk management, your trade risk, your portfolio heat, the number of trades that you have, how you distribute them, how you're, like I said right now, what am I doing? Well, on this next pullback, I will take more trades bullishly than on this most recent one. Due to my market posture having deteriorated, I took less new bullish trades. The ones I took worked, so it's like, in hindsight, of course, I wish I had more. But at the same time, I did what I needed to based on what I saw at the time. Now what? Now I see better, so I'm going to do more risk. A full load? No, not yet. I still have enough concerns that it's not that. All right, let's just pop in there. Let's see what we think. We are back into positive territory right now, but we're positive territory lower than yesterday in the same place we were 2 days ago when we first got news. And when you look at the volume, you're saying to yourself, does this look like the buyers are getting ready to advance? Or does it look like the buyers are gasping to hold on? I would say gasping to hold on. Carrying financial since the exit hasn't fired. That makes sense to me. Follow the rules. If you follow your rules, it's a good trade. If you break your rules, it's a bad trade. Doesn't matter whether you have profit or loss. That's not how we evaluate good and bad. So I 100% agree with that. But for me, as we think about now what? Well, so for any existing trades, what are your exits? Are you starting to take some profits? Are you tightening stops? Are you carrying over the weekend? If you're carrying over the weekend, the hedge trade, there's not a hedge signal, but a hedge trade would be fairly cheap. Press, it's good to see you, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to grab my keyboard and put it in my lap so I have it available. Okay, here we go. Yes. That's our market today. Marginally up. We tested lower. We're a little higher up. What would we call that candle? If I had to put a name on it without any confirmation, the potential candle is mostly what we'd call a hanging man. A hanging man. Let's see if it has enough. The body is, so here's the technical. Opened at 528.81, high of 529.31, 50-cent range. If the shadow is twice as long as the body, so if the shadow is $1, basically, so from 528.81 to 527.30, that's $1.50. So yes, hanging man. No, wait. Sorry, no. open at 528.81. Yeah, $1.50. Hanging man candle. I would say that the implications are fairly obvious. Hanging man. Somebody's dying here. We're at resistance. We're overbought. The buying pressure is ebbing. So I mean, I think we're going to see that there are a couple of signals still, which I can take as one-offs, but overall, I would not expect a lot of new bullish trades. Anybody taking new bullish trades? Let's see. No new ones. Running out of money. Well, if it's all invested in profitable trades, then good on you, right? Get ready to lock some in, reload. Next round of bullish trades. Okay. Let's take a quick peek at our VIX for today. Oh my goodness. Look at that VIX. 11.95. 11.95. We are almost to like post-pandemic lows. It's a lower low. So let's talk about our scores, market scores. Okay. The SPY, higher high. I think we have to give it a quarter of a point for that. The long-term score, we had said we might raise. I think I'm going to leave it as is, but man, I mean, that just straight up looks like a long-term bounce, does it not? I wonder if I'm starting to like think, did I allow the similarities of this pattern to overly influence me here? Maybe. We'll see. Time will tell. I mean, I'm flexible at this point. I'm like, great, I'll be more bullish. If I was a little light on one round, I can live with that. I said the door was open for bearish trades. I never took one. So no, I think I'm going to be okay with it, but we'll see. Because we're still in the summer months. So what does this look like? Maybe it doesn't go down like this, but I just don't see us having what we need yet from the Fed to rally us 4 months in front of the Fed event in September that we think is going to be the one where they finally actually cut the rates. Give me your take. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm not going to raise my score on this one, though. I am going to raise my score on this one for the higher high. Volume, Steven says no. I agree. Not even this day here. Still below average. Average was 61. We got 59. Now you can see over here, we've got 1 day, 2, 3. So we've got 3 days, one of which is getting stale. So I'm going to say it's a 2-0 in favor of the sellers. That's a minus 0.25 to me, right? Ever so slightly in favor of the sellers, minus 0.25. Well, that's where I am now. So I agree with you, Stephen. I'm going to leave mine at minus 0.25 most likely. Again, these are preliminary. There's been plenty of times where when we actually get in and do the analysis, it surprises us. This is just like a quick peek. But as of right now, I would say first half of the analysis, I'm up half a point, which puts me back into the 4s. But remember, we did get back into the 4s last time in September and October. You're like, Scott, stop talking about September and October. I will as soon as it's, and you're like, you said you would when it broke the highs. And I'm like, I said I might. Or if I didn't say that, that's what I should have said, and I meant to say I might. It has one more test to pass before, because it's still May. I mean, you guys feel me on that one, right? Or am I up in the night? It's May, June, Last year we were bullish, and that was an anomaly. 2 years in a row at a time when inflation is still enough of a concern that the Fed may not cut rates. I don't know. I don't know. I need you guys to weigh in on this one because sometimes I think like have I it's why they call it a bias. We don't know about it until it becomes conscious. Then we can fix the fact that we have erroneous thinking. Did I get the last 100 trades? I believe I did. Did I say I already did already? Did you ask already and I didn't tell you? Uh, I found a small error. Is that the one from yesterday? If it's from yesterday, then the answer is yes. Well received. Okay, what's next? Major market. I mean, here's what I think. I think that the small caps are strong enough. Oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit more iffy there. A little bit more iffy. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a window. Nope. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think it's going to stay the same. Quite honestly, I think it's going to stay the same. Half a point. I think that the sector rotation score is going to improve. We had enough jump in our growth sectors that it's going to at least go back to neutral. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Did anyone look at theirs? I think that's at least going to go up a quarter of a point. And going too fast. Sorry. I mean, this is just preliminary. So we're really just kind of thinking about the week. What have we seen this week? We've seen a lot of strength in broad areas. What does that mean? It means that money flow is going back into growth. So we're likely to see sector rotation. Looks like major market go up too. Okay. Okay. For me, I'm unknown. I agree. It could stay the same. Definitely, I think sector rotation because it went negative. It's at least neutral. Maybe not positive yet, but at least neutral. So I would say I'm at least at a 3. And then the VIX, we already saw the VIX. It's at a lower low, so that's going up a quarter of a point. I think we're going to end up at a 4.75. That's my prediction. 4.75. Give me your prediction. Well, okay, not just that. So my prediction is that we're going to go up 1 point. That's my initial prediction, up 1 point. That's pretty bullish. And that's now 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. And we will have regained 2 points. Okay. Okay. We lost 4 points. And then we regained 2 points. Still a bit of uncertainty. Yes? That's my concern. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. But that's what I think we're going to see likely from an increase or from our market posture score. Let's take a look real quickly at what's going on. And then we will, let me go align some things. This is the futures. That's old. SPY short term. I think I raised mine a quarter of a point for the higher high. We touched all-time highs, I think, in the SPY, didn't we? All-time highs? I believe we did. All right, we've got a few things to review here. What is Yahoo telling us is important? GameStop plummets. Okay, I'm telling you, I never understand what people want. It's a shark frenzy every time. You know? I mean, I wonder how many people sold, like, how many people bought at this day or before and sold on this day versus they held and now they're right back here. And they're like, well, now that I've held on, I mean, why? Why subject yourself to that? Look at that volatility. Thank you, press. Play foolish games, win foolish prizes. That's what I'm gonna say about it. Yeah, the market would love to smack you in the mouth on that one. And as we all know from the legendary Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's trading as well. Okay, why buy at the top, right? GameStop. So funny. The Reddit traders, clowns. It was funny. I was actually coaching a guy one time, and he was like 28, and his dad like was like a meme trader, and he's like, "Oh man, this was like right after the pandemic," and he's like, "Oh my gosh, my dad took 50 grand and turned it to 100, and he's talking about all these things. He's like, he's like, and he was doing well, he had done well too, but not like that." I'm like, just relax, man. This is the tortoise race, right? He just sprinted one time, and it was funny because by the end of fall, this guy was up another like 10, 15%. His dad just utterly blew up his account, traded 100 grand to zero. So I'm like, that's the story. And it's funny, the role reversal of it. And he's like, oh man, I couldn't convince my dad to stop doing things. Okay, so let's get to the, yeah, I gotta like create that story. I wonder if I still have him as a contact. He turned out to be a pretty good trader too. Apple, I like it. It's at new highs, right? It's at new highs. We pushed up. We're here. We made it to this level. This old support and old resistance, and now we're here again. Yeah, okay. Needs a little bit of a reset. Look at your volume. It's just there's nothing for it anymore. So a little breeze and it's going to pull back, which is fine. I'd rather trade it somewhere between 182 and 185. So let's be patient. Let it come to you. If you love this as a trade, set it free. And if it was meant to be, it'll come back to you. Oh, whatever that saying is. That's what's terrible. I've slaughtered it. ACB, it's trying, but it's floundering. If you're in it, you might take a little, tighten a stop, see if it goes a little more. AIG, anyone pull the trigger on this one? Um, let me know. Let me know if you did. AMD. Okay, so AMD, it did a higher low, right? It did a higher low, which it was pretty iffy. Now that it broke above the 50 and got a higher high, I think, yeah, which great. That makes chips feel and tech feel all that stronger. But the trade for me is on a pullback somewhere, I would say, in here, which would be the higher low, right? We want it to be above this line. So we're saying if this thing pulls back into this area and turns, that's where we're likely to get the next opportunity. So we still need a pullback in order for that to come our way. Amazon. So there's a couple on the list that for me are lined up for early week trade alerts next week. And this is definitely one of them for a directional trade. AXP, it's a little more iffy, but maybe. Boeing is trying to break through. I just don't like Boeing. Bank of America overextended, Citigroup overextended, Caterpillar. That's a maybe for a setup. We broke the 50, higher high, pulling back. If I get the higher low convincingly and it turns, opportunity. CMG is turning, but still pre-split. Nothing for us really there. CNM pulling back. I like this. I've been watching it enough that I would feel comfortable trading this. Maybe somewhere between what 56 and 59. Nice little range to catch something in. COF I don't like. I really am getting close to bouncing it. Like it just doesn't look right. Am I wrong? It's just grinding sideways. Not much we could do with it. Lost its luster. You know what, Stephen? Just you saying that. It's gone. Boom. Could you hear my click? I wanted it to be dramatic. It's off the island. Oil. Okay, so we get to see oil's last gasp. If oil can't get back, and by much, 125, if we look at COP as representation of oil, if oil moves up and it just sort of flounders and then drops, that's really nice. But that needs a little bit of time to have any kind of an impact. So I mean, it's nice that it's coming down. Don't let me forget to look at the dollar when we're done with this list here. I should probably just add it to the list. I'm going to. That way we look at it when we get there. Okay, UUP. And now I'm going to go back to Costco. I like Costco, but it needs a pullback. Let me get this back out. $20 days. Oh, we don't have much time. I think we needed this pullback to come instead of this bounce. Like these last 3 days here, and then we would have had time. And I just don't think we do. CRBG had a weird gap up. I don't know. That's weird. Delta consolidating. I like Delta. I think Delta and Amazon are representing a bit of increased and renewed strength in consumer discretionary. DIA, it's a higher high, but it's a little overextended. FCX, I put a material stock on here. This is copper and gold, I believe, primarily. You can see they have a higher high. I would still need to wait for a pullback. GBTC broke the 50, broke the consolidation. Still has to make a higher low. GE, oh, GE just sort of floundered on me. So if you're wondering, did you take that and now you're taking a loss? The answer is yes. I thought about it for an alert too. I'm glad I didn't put that out there. I suffered alone. Anybody else trade this, or am I suffering alone? I thought that looked like it wanted to go, and then just fizzled. Apparently the curse is transferred over. Maybe the symbol needed to change. I'm like, but the name has changed. It's different. I should be able to trade this now. And GE's like, no. Fair enough. We're done here. Gold looks bullish. Google looks bullish. But not now. Not like, oh, it looks bullish, so let's jump in after it just moved up 5 days in a row. No, now we wait for the next time the train slows down and gives us a chance to run and jump on. IWM, maybe pulling back, and small caps are looking pretty good. KBH, pulling back. Home builders, kind of in sits in the space between industrials and consumer discretionary, both of which are showing some strength. I would trade Meta on a pullback. I would trade Microsoft on a pullback. Look at me, how many have we said, yeah, I would trade that on a pullback? Why? Because it just made a big move up. It didn't have volume. It didn't need it. If it makes a higher high, then it pulls back and makes a higher low, it's valid. So if it pulls back and makes a higher low, it's valid across the board for all of these. Micron on a pullback. Netflix on a pullback. Nvidia on a pullback. No, not Nvidia. It is pulling back. It's down 2%. It's got earnings. You're going to have to wait on that one. I'd probably actually be with the amount of expectation that gets built into Nvidia as a representation of the semiconductor sector. It makes it very difficult not to see Nvidia earnings as being enough of an impact that it's going to act like earnings for any other earnings, right? It's going to have, if Nvidia is up or down 6 or 7%, expect other stocks to follow 3 to 4. That's my thought. So be careful with chip stocks going into next week, because the date is 5/22. Is that Tuesday? Wednesday after. Not a lot of time. Picard. That was one that I was thinking about for a put, and it's come down, but it does look like it's going to try to stabilize here. QQQ, new highs. Tech looks bullish. RTX. Ooh. That's a nice looking stock. Am I right? Defense oriented. Lot of missiles getting fired all over the world right now. Someone's got to replenish those missiles. War is good for defense companies. And this thing is trending up. Just made a new high, pulling back. Now here's the thing. This is not easy money, right? This thing could grind sideways. Here it went sideways. Here it went sideways. Beautiful trend, but it can move sideways. The volatility is low. You could get stuck into a time trap here if you're not careful, right? So I think RTX looks good, but I think you want to be prepared that it could have a sustained period of sideways. Covered call. It's a $104 stock. Diagonal spread. Low volatility, that works. If I put out a RTX trade for an alert, it'll be a diagonal spread. I'm 91.3% sure. 91.3. And you're like, Scott, you kind of hesitated, like you were making that number up as you went along. Did it sound like that, or did it sound like I was computing it in my head as I was saying it, and I came up with 91.3% probability? Yeah. RTX, looking good. A lot of things. Now, a couple things now, a lot of things on a pullback. SCC, what is this? How did this get here? Did somebody request this? I don't want this, I don't think. SCC, Pro Shares Ultra Short now. No. Look at this volume. It's like, what, 25,000 shares a day? What the hell? Which one of you put that on here? Wasn't me. Maybe it was. If it was, I didn't mean to. SPY. Okay, so the hanging man looks like it's going to prevail. TSM. Let's see. Pulling back a little bit, but I'm bullish. I would actually say that this looks awfully lot like a cup and handle type scenario. Cup, handle, anywhere in here, with the thought that if we can break, if if we can break this line, we can catch a real nice piece of heat on the first trade and then another piece on the second trade. That's the expectation. Yeah. UUP. I don't know. Let's take this back a year. So it does look different right now, right? It looks like it's sort of starting to pull back a little bit, but we're right on the 50. If we bounce from here higher and then move towards 30, I think that we're going to move into that corrective, the second half of that corrective phase. The VIX, beautifully low down here now. Remember that what I like to do for the hedge, if I'm going to hedge, I'm going to take the SPY. Right now is at 529. 529.20 times 0.95. 502.74, we're going to call that 503. 503 is the strike price. That is 5% out of the money from right now. And then I'm going to go 5 weeks out in time. So let's pull up. Let me get five weeks out in time. 35 days is June. Perfect. Perfection. So we'll go down to these June options. Make sure this is a single. And I'm going to just start here and then change this to a 503. Boom. Whoo! $1.15. That might be, again, remember, I think the cheapest we've seen it was like $1.19, $1.20. And right now, it's a $1.15. Yeah. If you're carrying a bunch of bullish trades and you're thinking to yourself, what would 3 contracts? That's $350. What would that do for me? If things were to all of a sudden like get nasty over the weekend for some reason. Well, let's go look. Right? Let's go back and then let's analyze this trade, then we'll go look. Three contracts. Move this back down real quickly here. You can see that the risk is this. This is the risk in this trade. That's $350. There's 500, so that's $350 of risk. This trade, if it dropped down to 510, that's a 20-point drop. That's 4%, not even 4%. Right? That's only 4%. And this trade could be making around $1,300. But remember, if the market drops 4, we're probably going to get a huge amount of volatility. Let's actually move this 504 line to this 510 line here. And let's pull this up a little bit. Let's say I get, now watch this line, $1,100. Remember, $350, that's max loss. If it drops down there to 510, $1,100, but if it comes with a 3 or 4% increase in implied volatility, let's give it 4%. It'd probably be, if we drop that much, we'll probably actually get more like 5 or 6, but let's just call it 4. $1,800. How much did we pay? $345. That would be $1,800 of protection for something like this. Now, that's not even, if you were able to hold on to one of those contracts and you actually caught a full correction. A full correction is 10%. And it's hard to hold on to them for that. But every now and again, you might catch that. 10% would be if this thing dropped down to, what would that be? $50, 580, maybe like 578, 478, something like that. Let's see if I'm right. 520.99 times 0.9, 468. I wasn't even close. $10 off. My math was terrible. It's Friday. Forgive me. Forgive me. 468. Oh gosh, look at that. Now it wouldn't be three of them, it would be one of them, but one contract could literally make 10 to 1. $3,000 on a 100. No, it'd be even more than that. Huge. That's why I put these on and try to hold one. Right? What are the mechanics to put that kind of trade on? You buy the put. Literally, from here, this trade, if I have these 3 contracts or whatever it was, I would right click and say, let's confirm and send this, and there it is. Buy 3 contracts. This is just a hedge. If you've got some bullishness and you're thinking, because here's the other thing. Okay, so what if it doesn't drop? Well, we're not really worried about it going up like huge, like spiking up, right? We've already said there's no volume. Our concern of a spike up is not much. So what's it likely to do then if it doesn't drop? It's likely to go sideways. Okay, well, this is sideways right here. No vol. If it goes sideways and we get to Tuesday of next week, it's the 21st. Boop, 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 boop. You've lost $60, right? If it's like sideways and you're like, you know what, it doesn't look like it's going to drop, I can take some trades off. You can shut the trade down and you've lost, right? It gives you, it's insurance. That's why it's a hedge. It's insurance. You're not speculating. It's insurance. There you go. I hope that made sense. Did we get through the whole list? We did, right? No, not quite. Sorry. I'm going to run out of time. VRT, bullish, pulling back. That looks quite good. That's on my list. Financials look great still. Wells Fargo looks okay. Waste Management sideways. Walmart broke out on earnings, but now we need to wait to see what happens next. There's materials kind of sideways. Strength in consumer communication services. Possibly strength coming in energy. Definitely strength in financials. Definitely strength in industrials. Definitely strength in technology. So those are 3 of our big 4 right there. The problem is we also have strength, which is defensive in consumer staples, and we have strength, which is defensive in utilities. I don't know. It's a mixed bag. I feel like I'm more bullish. I'm willing to trade more bullishly, but I do still have some weird level of skepticism with this market. Give me your thoughts overall. Don't forget that you are finishing up on personal info. Nope. You're finishing up on risk management. Yes? Defining the risk management. That's what you should be looking for. Okay. All right. Well, we had a light group today. Small, but mighty. And for that, I appreciate you guys. I will see you on Sunday. Don't forget Monday. Monday, and it is likely to be just him. I have to speak with him today. It's likely to be just him, but on Monday we have cocktail hour. We have cocktail hour meet and greet with Glenn, our new coach. Dun, 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 dun. He's excited to meet you guys. He will be here on Monday and Tuesday. Meet and greet Monday, giving you a presentation on some magnificent thing on Tuesday. You're going to love it. I don't know what it is, but knowing Glenn, it's going to be great. Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody? Otherwise, I'll see you guys Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't let me forget to remind you, right, Stephen? Don't let me forget to remind you, again about Monday. It's great to see everybody. Have a great weekend. As always, happy trading.